about some of our agenda items, and what we'll be touching on this session along with another host of issues. So, the top of our list is obviously House Bill 1001, which is passed out of the committee today. The text is a state of emergency, responsibly, while also protecting workers and giving them flexibility to vaccine requirements. House Bill 1003, this is an issue along with the pandemic. We've got to find ways to increase the workforce in healthcare, and House Bill 1003 being authored by Representative Manning does just that. It streamlines processes to get more people into that workforce faster. Again, this was an issue pre-pandemic. Obviously, the pandemic was highlighted coming out of the pandemic but it still has this issue. So we've been working in partnership with our healthcare partners, higher education, to find better ways to address the healthcare shortage issue. House Bill 1004, this has been an issue that we've had since we've done a lot of the criminal justice changes. It's been, that many of the level 6 offenders are being held at local jails, and one of the things we want to do is give more flexibility to be able to come under state corrections. Again, opening up space at the local level so that they can use their resources appropriately to make sure, again, we're addressing all the criminal justice and public safety issues at the local level. So that just gives them more flexibility. And obviously, I'm excited about House Bill 1002, which Dr. Brown's going to care for us, which deals with tax cuts, helping Hoosiers, putting money back in the pockets of Hoosiers, cuts in income tax, the rural utility receipts tax, and then also helps businesses by when they make new investments, encouraging them to make new investments. And the bill also makes local governments. So we'll deal with a lot of different issues, but look forward to working on those 4 and many others. And I think we'll have a good, strong, safe session.
Mr. Speaker, on the issue of tax cuts, obviously Indiana's flush with cash right now, partially due to the federal money that's coming in. What do you guys do when that money goes away and times get a little bit tougher?
Well, I think, I've tremendous confidence in our Ways and Means Committee and Dr. Brown to consider, this isn't just about 2022. This is preparing for the long term. Now, I've offered the state selection. I'm not, we want to be responsible in those tax cuts. But, again, we're potentially close to a $5 billion surplus, a $2 billion structural surplus. We can be thoughtful and responsible and get money back in the hands of Hoosiers. As we deal with inflation, giving people back some of their money that helps them as they pay for higher priced groceries and higher priced gas and those basic needs and services. So we can do both and do both responsibly.
The governor has talked a lot about the big bills that are coming. Particularly, I think he's thinking about finally investing in public health in the state in a really realistic way. The work of that commission. Does cutting $1 billion from the state's revenues going to help pay those bills 5, 6, 7 years down the line?
Well, I think it's important that you look at this realistically. One is we're phasing in the income tax cuts to make sure we're doing this thoughtfully and preparing for the future. We'll have the money to make the investments that need to be made, Brandon. I'm totally confident in that. And but I've heard loud and clear from Hoosiers. They're not looking for more government programs, and they've had their fill of those. And if the public health commission comes out with substantial things that we think are good, strong investments, we'll make sure we'll have the dollars back for that. I'm committed to the fact that I think trying to fund the remainder of the READY program in future budgets is important. Again, I would only note that we're talking about whatever we leave, even after the tax cuts, from a structural surplus will be more than we could have ever imagined going into 2021.
Until when? Do you play the second round day Monday, Tuesday?
It'll be next week. We'll move that bill, participations, and move it next week. People come to this building and have their voice heard, and I'm not going to be the one who sits there and tells people what they can and can't say. And there's platforms all over the place, social media, comment section of the media, for people to say what they want to say. They come in this building. We as individuals have to discern that, and I have confidence people do that.
You sent a joint letter to all the parents this week, which intentionally is going to have to cut costs or otherwise we'll do something in the future to do it for them. What do you have in mind in terms of what we could actually do to reduce costs?
Well, we've heard loud and clear from individual Hoosiers, from Hoosier business owners, that our healthcare costs are just, they're escalating way too quickly. They're taking up way too much of people's net taking pay and businesses' revenue. So, look, our goal through that letter to Senator Bray is to say to the people inside the industry, look, fix it. The best solution will come from you. The best solution will come from you. Look, I think we've seen progress. We saw the negotiations in Fort Wayne with Parkview. We've seen IU Health announce a freeze. We want to see more, and we want those dollars. We want to see savings, and we want to make sure those savings get to the individuals and the businesses that are paying the premiums. We're not going to take options off the table. I've been reading all across the country, people have been looking at this. In some ways, we've been ahead of the curve, but we've got to continue to make progress on this. I would prefer they make progress on it than us have to do legislative things, and this is their chance to make significant progress. I look forward to having those conversations early next year. But actions are going to mean a lot. I've said that. I want to see clear metrics of success and lowering healthcare.
Is that really the only thing we're planning on doing in this session?
Predominantly, Brandon. One of the things we've talked to the stakeholders about is that I don't want to move the ball on it. They should have an opportunity to fix. Or to address these cost issues. There will always be, health is always an important issue. I'm sure Chairman Barrett will have a robust agenda. But in addressing it specifically, again, we're trying to say to them, this is your chance to lead in fixing the problem. We prefer you do it, and we aren't pleased with the results. We'll come back next year. And I hate to say this, but maybe take a little more heavy-handed.
In terms of saying you want to get time to come up with solutions on their own, this is not a new problem.
No.
Why isn't time already up to the track?
Well, because I think we've really focused hard on transparency and the all player spend database and some of the agenda bills we've had in the past. Again, we've seen the start of this in some of the reactions of the industries. But holistically, that we felt like we want to make sure. I don't think we've ever been as clear as we needed to be. We want to be very clear on what our expectations are. Bring the stakeholder groups together, and hopefully there'll be a lot of progress this year, and I'm confident that'll be the case. If not, we'll be back here next year and probably take an approach that's a little more heavy-handed than the approach you're taking.
Mr. Speaker, on the issue of criminal justice reform, moving inmates back up to Department of Corrections, obviously there's going to be a burden on the state. It costs the state more money. Can you do that? And once again, cut taxes when you're adding like another fiscal to the state of Indiana?
Well, we'll see what the fiscal comes out on that, Abdul. It might not be as expensive as you think. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we partnered with Rob Carter, Department of Corrections. Greg Sturwald's been having a lot of conversations with the Department of Corrections to make sure this is all feasible. We think it's very cost affordable, and again, it helps our local partners as they deal with public safety issues.
Does this snarl the line between jail detention and imprisonment?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
And I might be a little confused.
Yeah.
So first off, are we talking pre-trial or post-trial offenders?
Well, these would be post.
These would be post.
Yeah.
With your tax cut plan, why such a high percentage of it going to business tax cuts when you've already reduced so many business taxes and leaving the sales tax, making the state more reliant on the sales tax essentially, and leaving that unchanged?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think we want to make sure that we're addressing who's your income earners, and that's been a large priority for us, Tom, and we'll continue to be trying to find the right balance. We're always looking for it. And look, I think Dr. Brown and the committee, as it works its way through the process, we'll probably have a lot of discussions about a lot of different things. But we want to encourage new investment in the state. That's a key priority for us. It aligns, I think, a bill Senator Mitchell will have in the Senate. So, look, it's we want to reward who's your income earners, and people pay the sales tax. We're going to have a heck of a lot of people. It's going to be awesome over the next week coming in from all around the country, paying the Indiana sales tax, and because of the college football championship game. So, we're trying to find that right balance, but, we want to support new business investment and reward income earners.
I think this was, I talked about this the other day, so I apologize that I'm repeating my question from a couple days ago, but we're in the midst of one of the worst surges in the pandemic right now. There are no more protocols in place in the legislature. Is there a plan in place for what happens if there's an outbreak among staff or lawmakers or both?
We'll address we thought about what we have to do. We'll make accommodation accordingly if there's a staffing outbreak. But, I would just note, and I'd say this in regards to, we are at a point right now where we have to acknowledge that we're not stopping the spread. When we see people who have been vaccinated and boosted and who've had COVID before getting it again, and we've seen we've seen the educational consequences of restrictions. We've seen the mental health consequences of restrictions. We're seeing more acuteness in hospitals because people didn't get the treatment they needed earlier because of fear of COVID. Look, we've got to move through this thoughtfully. The great news is we've got tremendous healthcare partners, and they've developed, you've got vaccinations, you've got, additional treatments. People should take the precautions they need, that they feel are necessary for them. And I will totally support that, whether it's vaccination, masking, whatever it may be, they feel is comfortable for them. But quite honestly, it's about personal responsibility right now, and it's not going to be about government actions. We've seen, you guys have seen all the same data I have. No matter where people have taken the restrictions, everybody's dealing with this surge. So, Brandon, I'm confident in the protocols we're taking. If we have to make changes, the one thing I would say for my brief tenure as Speaker is I've learned to deal with flexibility.
Mr. Speaker, on that same note, is it because of the surge, like Brandon mentioned, is now the right time to, sort of handcuff employers with their vaccine mandates, supposed to let them sort of figure out their own situation?
So, well, I think, through all this, things change, and we have to respect things change. And I think what we've now seen is that there was a belief that we all got vaccinated, we could stop this spread, right? And we aren't stopping the spread. Vaccination protects me. It protects me. It doesn't mean that I can't give it to you. And so, I would challenge people to say, if we're looking around and we're going to follow the science says you should take the precautions that you feel are necessary. But whether I'm in a room, and no matter what that room, the dynamics of that room may look like, I think we're now at that point where it feels to me pretty clear that we have to move forward, and people need to take the precautions they need to make. But we have to look at this at a holistic level. Holistically about what are we doing to make sure we got kids being educated, and the consequences that's been on educational, mental health, and other health issues, and it's not going away. We have to manage our way through it. Hopefully, this surge will subside quickly. Greatly appreciate the extraordinary work of the people in the healthcare system that are dealing with it. But we have to take a holistic approach to this. And I think the idea that employers were going to stop the spread in their business because of vaccination, it certainly has been proven that hasn't been the case. We all, frankly, all wish it would have been.
Why then not apply the bill to all vaccinations and not just COVID? If it's about holistic approach and personal responsibility and all that.
Well, because I think, right now, Brandon, the discussion is around COVID. This is where you see the employers taking action, and it's the discussion is myopic and appropriately so.
Your two top priority bills, you have significant disagreements with both the Senate and the governor. Why is the House, you're all Republicans, why is there so much disagreement amongst these three different
Isn't that great? First of all, it gives you something to write about. We're here for content. Look, I'm not sure there's as much disagreement. Governor Holcomb, Senator Bray, and our caucus teams we talk all the time, and we'll work through this. And I think it's good to have different perspectives, and obviously we feel passionately about ours, and we'll continue to have those conversations with our friends. But look, you guys would complain if we came in here and steamrolled all the same stuff. So we just this is a priority, and we hear from our constituents, and we respond back to our constituents. Our constituencies are different at times.
The Senate's got Senate Bill 3, which is just the public health emergency language. They want it to kind of stand on its own. Should that conversation be sort of bisected?
We'll have that. We'll have that conversation. And not have that conversation with Senator Bray yet. We'll have that probably the next week or two to figure out the pathway moving forward. But I know that's what they're doing, and we'll have a conversation about the intersection between Senate Bill 3 and Senate Bill 1.
So week one out the way, so they can get out of here a little bit early?
Absolutely. This means a lot of work, but next week's going to be busy, and there's a lot going on next week, and then we have the following Monday off for Martin Luther King Day. So we have a lot of work to do. I think we're now after today 11 session days between now and the end of the third reading deadline. So we're gonna work hard to get it done. Might mean some late nights, but that's fine.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.